What's good, YouTube? It is your boy, Big Cool, coming to you from Colossal Sports TV. And I am back with another video. This is the rundown discussing boxing's latest news. First up, the Fox Sports Executive Vice President of Programming, Bill Wanger, has revealed that in 2020, we could get 4 to 5 pay-per-views on Fox. And this shouldn't come as much as a surprise because this year they've had 3, but after November 23rd, it will be 4 pay-per-view fights that they have broadcast in the year of 2019. The first being Mikey Garcia versus Errol Spence. The second one being Keith Thurman versus Manny Pacquiao. And more recently, last weekend, Errol Spence versus Sean Porter in a welterweight unification bout. And to finish up the year strong, they will be distributing the rematch between WBC heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder and top contender Luis Ortiz on November 23rd. So that lets me know that Fox is all in with boxing. They all in with the big fights. And it's already been reported by us at 3kingsboxing.com that Errol Spence and Danny Garcia are likely to fight on January 25th, which will be another pay-per-view fight, the third consecutive pay-per-view headlined by the now unified welterweight champion Errol Spence. Also, we know Manny Pacquiao is set to return at some point in the first half of 2020, possibly against Mikey Garcia. So that has one right there. That's the second one. And then the co-promoted rematch between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. If Wilder is successful in his rematch with Ortiz, that would be a third one. And the fourth one could, possibly be, Keith Thurman versus Sean Porter or somebody. It could be somebody. I'm not for sure who that could be. But we could see Keith Thurman versus somebody, Sean Porter versus somebody. Depends on how strong the opponent is. But this is what he had to say. Within our deal, we have 4 to 5 pay-per-views a year. We understand that every fight can be pay-per-view level fight. That's why we have 12 fights per year on FS1. That's why we have 10 fights per year on Fox Broadcasting, which are free. And that's more than there's ever been in boxing in a long, long time. He also went on to say, so our goal with this whole PBC deal is to bring great fights back to free over-the-air television and basic cable television in a maximum number of homes. And yes, there's going to be 4 to 5 pay-per-views a year when there are special fights like Spence Porter and Wilder Ortiz. So, of course, 12 fights will air on Fox Sports 1, 10 fights on Fox. And then, like he mentioned, 4 to 5 pay-per-view fights for what he categorized as special fights. Now, is this a good thing or a bad thing? It depends on how you look at it, and it depends on the type of product they are trying to sell us. Now, if we're going to get Thurman Pacquiao, good idea. Spence Porter, good idea. Obviously, Mikey Garcia, Errol Spence wasn't a good idea from a competitive standpoint due to Spence being the much bigger man, and Mikey coming up from 135 all the way to 147. Not to say skill-wise, those two guys aren't comparable, but when you look at it just past the skill standpoint, the physicality, the height, the reach, the natural size that Errol Spence possessed, it was a bad matchup. But you had to give Mikey the benefit of the doubt due to him being a 4-division world champion, unbeaten up until that moment, having that pedigree, and he was willing to step in the ring when not many other champions in the division of Errol Spence at 147 were willing to do. Some people will argue against Deontay Wilder versus Luis Ortiz as a useless rematch. There's no need for it. And maybe they're right, but there was a close fight. Deontay Wilder was on the brink of being stopped in that 7th round. He ultimately survived and went on to stop Luis Ortiz in 10 rounds. But you got to consider this when you're talking about Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder is a knockout artist. We all see what he do, we all saw what he did against Dominic Brazil back in May when he obliterated him with a beautiful place right hand in round 1. So that knockout chance is always high with Wilder, no matter if it's the first round or the 12th round. Go back to last December in a fight with Tyson Fury where he was pretty much outboxed, but scored 2 knockdowns, one in the 5th round and the dramatic one in the 12th round that left everybody speechless as to how in the hell did Tyson Fury get up. But the example is Wilder can put you down and out at any given moment. So as long as the matchups are top-notch matchups between the upper echelon guys in their divisions, I think it'll be a good idea. But if you start to put those mismatches, on pay-per-view, then it's gonna be a big problem. So with Errol Spence and Manny Pacquiao and Deontay Wilder being some big stars in boxing, anytime their names attached to something, it's going to pique the interest of the fight fan and also the casual fight fan. But they got to have a good, respectable dance partner to go along with it. So as long as these guys are giving us top-notch matchups, I don't mind having 4 to 5 pay-per-view fights per year. But if they start giving us some trash, you need to cut that down to 1 or 2 and put these guys back on regular, basic cable television. Next up, Deontay Wilder declares Alexander Usyk a non-threat to him. I'll put his quote up in the video so you all can see it. He was conducting an interview with Sky Sports Boxing. They asked him a variety of questions, and this quote stuck out to me from him. Like I said, it's not in front of me, but I will pin it in the video so you all can see it. But he pretty much said that he doesn't feel that Alexander Usyk is a threat to him. He's gonna just do a lot of movement with his feet, and that's not gonna faze him. But I disagree, and we all know Deontay Wilder is supremely confident. He believes wholeheartedly in his ability, even when nobody else does. But I gotta bring him down to reality just a little bit, He says that the foot movement of Usyk won't faze him yet. Go back to last December. He was befuddled for majority of that fight against Tyson Fury, a guy who is 6'9", that can box his ass off, and displayed that against Wilder. And if he had trouble with Tyson Fury, who is exceptional for a guy of that size and stature with his foot movement, imagine the issues you're gonna have with a guy that's much more fluid, much more lighter on his feet, more athletic, more quicker, and a guy in Usyk who is 6'3". He's gonna present all kinds of problems for Deontay Wilder. Even though Wilder will sport a 4-inch height advantage and a reach advantage, the skills and the technical ability of Usyk makes him a tough out for not just Deontay Wilder, but Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz, Tyson Fury, and so forth and so on. So I can't say he should outright dismiss Alexander Usyk as him not being a threat, because you can't hit what you can't see, and Alexander Usyk is phenomenal by getting in and out, putting himself in position to defend himself as well as mount an offensive attack. And Wilder is sometimes sloppy and can be put out of position. Hell, even Luis Ortiz was giving him problems. You know what I'm saying? Luis Ortiz was giving him problems. Yes, it was a southpaw versus orthodox fighter, and Ortiz was able to keep that right foot of Wilder on the inside of his, controlling how, where he went. You know what I'm saying? And Wilder did overcome that. But Usyk is a different type of beast when it comes to, the foot movement, the foot placement, the foot speed. You know what I'm saying? Ask Tony Bellew, ask Murat Gassiev, ask Bradis, ask Marco Huck, Ask all these guys. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not saying that Wilder can't beat him and that he won't land that big right hand. All I'm saying is that he better be well prepared to, pull out all the stops if and when these guys meet up down the line, because Usyk is gonna be a tough out for anybody, and that's just a major fact. But, Wilder is known for that confidence, and that confidence never wavers. That's why you got to respect that, because he truly believes in himself and in his abilities. Next up, let's talk about the fights this weekend, or the two main fights. First up, I'm going to give a quick prediction for Claressa Shields versus Ivana Hazabin. These two women will be fighting for the vacant WBO and WBC junior middleweight titles. These two have bad blood amongst one another. Hazabin, made some remarks that didn't sit right with Shields, and I interviewed Shields and asked her about it. Pretty much accusing Shields of being overweight and not really having a knee injury as to why the fight was postponed from August to October, which, Shields did hurt her knee training in preparation for the fight with Hazabin. But, she didn't like that. But one thing I'll say, I love the confidence from Ivana Hazabin, who is really, getting people intrigued by this fight. Now, she's a major underdog, rightfully so. Claressa Shields is a two-time Olympic gold medalist. She's the current undisputed women's middleweight champion. She's also won some belts at 168. And now her dropping down to 154, trying to, win her third title, or titles in three different weight classes. She has a chance, and she's motivated. She's a very prideful woman. She has big confidence. Her confidence probably matches Wilder in the sport of boxing, women and men's boxing, as, the top two confident motherfuckers that puts on gloves. You know what I'm saying? They exude that confidence. They talk. They're not afraid to, speak what it is they feel is going to happen. And, it may rub people the wrong way, or people might love it. But back to this fight. Hasn't been, man. I just don't see her being able to pull off an upset. Neither one has huge power. Hasbin has more than Shields, who has only two knockouts in 9 fights, which is not gonna, you know what I'm saying, get it done in terms of how she wanted to. But, she's definitely a gifted fighter. You see how she did Christina Hammer. She just confused her and outworked her. And that's what I expect to happen in this fight. I see Shields as being too athletic, too quick, having too much volume for Hazabin, who's not going to be able to, offset that. She's not extremely quick. She does not have good head movement. I think that Claressa Shields is highly motivated. She's fighting in her hometown of Flint, Michigan. The fight broadcasting live on Showtime. She's looking to prove a point to anybody that feel like they can beat her. You know what I'm saying? She calls herself the GOAT, greatest woman of all time. And, as she keeps progressing in her career and defeating these champions and top contenders, she's going to make a better case for that. While I think has a chance, I don't think it's much of a chance. She's going to have to fight a perfect fight. She's going to have to be able to time Claressa Shields. She's going to need to set the tempo with her jab, throw off Shields, knock her rhythm off as she comes in to attack, be able to throw straight shots down the middle to split that guard of Shields, who can get a little reckless at times. Shields has definitely done better with increasing her stamina, her energy, her endurance. That was a big problem early on in her career, but that had to do mainly just off of her excitement, early fighting as a professional, and so forth and so on. So I got Claressa Shields by unanimous decision, as she will win her third title in a third weight class, become the WBC and WBO junior middleweight women's champion. Next up, the big fight of the weekend. Former unified middleweight champion, Mexican style Triple G Gennady Golovkin will be taking on the dangerous, hard-hitting Sergey Derevchenko in New York City for the vacant IBF middleweight title. That fight is being aired on the Zone. Gennady Golovkin is like 36 years old, I believe now, or maybe 37. He's clearly not the Golovkin of 2, 3, 4 years ago, but he's still a top fighter, still a top middleweight threat, and is the favorite going into this fight over Derevchenko, who has only had one loss in his career, and that came at the hands of Daniel Jacobs last November when those two guys fought for the vacant IBF middleweight title. He was dropped in that fight. But got up and showed a good account of himself, but clearly was the loser. But maybe this is the perfect timing for Derevchenko to get Gennady Golovkin. You know, he wanted to fight him the year that Golovkin fought Vanes Martirosyan. It might have been last year after the whole debacle with Canelo Alvarez testing positive for clenbuterol and Golovkin having to fight an opponent on short notice. You know, team Derevchenko did want that fight, but Golovkin and his team felt that it was just too tough of a fight for that quick, that shorter notice. But now these two guys meet. Derevchenko has the age advantage. He's the fresher fighter. He's not quite as old. He doesn't have as much wear and tear on the body as Gennady Golovkin. Gennady Golovkin still possesses that power. He's a tremendous body puncher. He cuts the ring off very well, has an excellent jab, and he has the height advantage going in this fight. May have a reach advantage as well, but Derevchenko is a sharp shooter. He's like 5'8", 5'9", so he's a little short in stature for the middleweight division, but he packs a big punch. He's a good body puncher. He's a good boxer. He's shown to have a sturdy chin, although he was knocked down by Daniel Jacobs. He still is a guy that is very skillful and is motivated and confident of his abilities going into this fight that he's going to be able to get the job done. In Golovkin's last fight, he fought Steve Rose, knocked his ass out. But at times in that fight, he showed weaknesses and he showed vulnerabilities. He was getting hit by the right hand of Rose, but Rose didn't possess enough power to really do anything of significance to deter Golovkin. I think that Derevchenko does have enough power to get the respect of a Golovkin and make him think before he just bum rushes in. But Golovkin has been here many a times, fought Canelo Alvarez twice, fought Daniel Jacobs, fought David Lemieux, Gabe Rosado. He's been in these big fights numerous times. You know, he's a future Hall of Famer, so I'm going to roll with him. I think he'd get it done by a split decision. I could see a stoppage, but I think that Derevchenko is going to be able to make this a real competitive fight. I think that he's going to be in the fight in the championship rounds, but I think that Gennady Golovkin is going to do enough to get the job done by way of split decision. There you have it, man. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you drop those comments in the comment section down below. Hit that subscribe button. Turn those notifications on to be notified every time I upload content. Shout out to the movement and everybody that is moving with us. Be sure to check out 3kingsboxing.com for your latest and greatest updated, unfiltered, and unbiased boxing news and information reported the way it should be. Until next time, I am out. Peace.